Good morning, students. Today we'll be studying about biofertilizers. That is the next topic in your unit 4. So basically, what are biofertilizers? Fertilizers क्या होते हैं? These are the substances which some or other way they will, promote the growth of the plants by supplying the nutrients to the plants. So basically, biofertilizers is bio and fertilizer. That is, they will contain the biological component, or you can say living microorganisms which will promote the growth of the plants by supplying and making the nutrients available to the host plant. So if we go by the definition, a biofertilizer is a substance which contains living microorganisms. First thing is that they contains the living microorganisms. When applied to seed, plant surfaces, soil, they colonize the rhizosphere or the interior of the plant and promotes growth by increasing the supply or availability of primary nutrients to the host plant. So basically these are the microorganisms, and these microorganisms, when we apply them to the plant, they will colonize the rhizosphere or even the interiors of the plants through the roots, and they promote the growth of a particular plant by increasing the supply or availability of the nutrients, the primary nutrients which are required by the host plants. So the biofertilizers add nutrients through the natural processes of nitrogen fixation, solubilizing phosphorus, and they also stimulate the plant growth by synthesizing the growth promoting hormones or substances. So basically, what did they do? The microorganisms which we use as the biofertilizers, they increase the availability of the primary nutrients to the host plant by either fixing the nitrogen present in the soil atmosphere, by solubilizing the phosphorus, and even by synthesis of growth promoting substances. So basically biofertilizers are the natural fertilizers, and they contains the microbial populations which may be of bacteria, algae, or fungi. Basically they're available separately or in combination commercially. These biofertilizers help biological nitrogen fixation for the benefit of plants. They build up the soil microflora and thereby the soil health. Biofertilizers also include organic fertilizers such as manure, compost, others, and they are usually used and recommended for improving the soil fertility in organic farming. So basically when we talk about the types of biofertilizers, there may be a classification based on their roles. That is the fertilizers which are helping the nitrogen fertilizers or nitrogen biofertilizers, the compost biofertilizers, phosphorus solubilizing biofertilizers, and then based on the organisms, they can be bacterial biofertilizers, fungal biofertilizer, algal, aquatic ferns, and finally the earthworms are also utilized to form the biofertilizers. So when we talk about the bacterial biofertilizers, if we talk about the nitrogen fixers, then the nitrogen fixers again can be in two forms. The one group are the nitrogen fixers, which forms the symbiotic association with the plant, and they form a close relationship with the plant, and these are the example of such nitrogen fixers include rhizobium and azospirillum species. And there are certain other type of nitrogen fixers which are free living nitrogen fixers, and they do not form the symbiotic relationship with the plant. So example of the free living nitrogen fixers are Azotobacter and Klebsiella. Then moving to the algal biofertilizers, basically the algal biofertilizers are blue-green algae, and they, they are found in the association with Azolla, and the examples include the Nostoc oscillatoria and Azolla anabina. So basically, the algal biofertilizers include the BGA. Okay, then the phosphate solubilizing bacteria include the Pseudomonas, Bacillus megaterium. These species are involved as the phosphate solubilizing bacteria. And the fungal biofertilizers are basically the mycorrhiza forming species. And the most common example of fungal biofertilizers is VAM, that we have already covered in the previous topic, that is the vascular herbuscular mycorrhiza, which is an example of endomycorrhizae. So moving to the bacterial biofertilizers, these are the live cells of bacteria which are used as biofertilizers. They contain a unique gene which is known as NIF gene, which make them capable of fixing nitrogen. The nitrogen fixing bacteria, as I told you, they can be in two categories. They can form a symbiotic relationship, and then they can be non-symbiotic. So they can live in two conditions, symbiotically and free living bacteria. The symbiotic bacteria make an association with the crop plant, and as we have studied, they form the root nodules inside the host roots. They form the nodules in the roots of the host plant, but the free living bacteria do not have any association with the plants, and they live freely and they fix the atmospheric nitrogen. The symbiotic nitrogen fixers include Rhizobium and Azospirillum. So basically, Rhizobium lives in the root hairs of legumes, and there they forms the nodules in the roots of the leguminous plants. Basically, the roots provide the essential minerals to the bacteria, Rhizobium, for the growth, and in turn it helps in fixing the nitrogen for the plant. The name Rhizobium was established by Frank in 1889. Rhizobium can fix up to 50 to 300 kilogram per hectare, and there is a new classification that has been given for Rhizobium, which includes the slow growing rhizobia and the fast growing rhizobia. So the slow growing rhizobia is known as Bradyrhizobium, and the fast growing rhizobia is known as only Rhizobium. Okay, so the next is the azospirillum. As we just studied that the Rhizobium, find an symbiotic association with the leguminous plants. The azospirillum basically found the symbiotic relationship with the cereal crops, and they inhabit both the root cells as well as the surrounding of the roots, and they form a symbiotic relationship wherein they increase the nitrogen fixation, and hence they increase the potential of the cereal plant. Azospirillum is a dominant microbe which is present in the rhizosphere of the non-leguminous plants such as cereals, millets, oilseeds, cotton, etc. So basically, you can cut short the quantity of the nitrogen fertilizer up to 25 to 30% if you are using the biofertilizer containing the azospirillum inoculant. So you will need less nitrogen chemical fertilizer up to 25 to 30% if you are applying the azospirillum inoculant in your cereal plants, or you can say non-leguminous plants. So basically, these species have been commercially exploited for the use as nitrogen supplying biofertilizers. Now, if we talk about the free living bacteria, which do not form any symbiotic association with the plants, and they do not form the nodules, but they live in the rhizosphere around the plant roots, then Common examples of the free-living nitrogen-fixing bacteria are the Azotobacter and Klebsiella. So basically, Azotobacter is a biofertilizer which provides the required amount of nitrogen to the plant from soil. Azotobacter is a heterotrophic free-living nitrogen-fixing bacteria which is present in alkaline and neutral soils. It occurs in almost all the crop growing and cropping able soils of India, which is known as arable soil. So arable soil is basically a soil which is capable of raising crops and growing stuff, and apart from its ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen in soils, it can also synthesize growth promoting substances. So basically, Azotobacter is capable of fixing the nitrogen, as well as it can synthesize substances such as auxins and gibberellins, which promotes the growth of the plants, and to certain small extent, they also produce certain vitamins. So there are many strains of Azotobacter which also exhibit fungicidal properties, and they prevent the plant against the certain fungal species. So response of Azotobacter has been verified in the crops such as rice, maize, cotton, sugarcane, pearl millet, and vegetables, as well as some plantation crops. Azotobacter has also been reported to improve the seed germination and plant growth, and it is the heaviest breathing organism, and it requires a large amount of organic carbon for its growth. So the next is the VAM, that is the vesicular herbescular mycorrhiza. We have already covered it in our previous topic, but let us have a quick review about it. So the term mycorrhiza was taken from the Greek language meaning the fungus root. It was coined by Frank in 1885. And mycorrhiza is basically, as I've told you, it is a mutualistic association between the fungal mycelia and the plant roots. So VAM is an endotrophic, that is the live inside mycorrhiza, where the fungal hypha penetrates the root hairs, and there it forms the different kind of structures for the nutrient exchange between the plant and the fungi, and the VAM helps in the nutrient transfer. Basically, it is involved in the transfer of nutrients such as phosphorus, zinc, and sulfur. So the VAM plays a great role in inducing the plant growth. It is also a kind of symbiotic relationship, and it is an endophytic soil fungi which enters and colonize the interior of the roots of the plants, and basically it is approximately present in 80% of the plants. The hyphae of the fungi also helps in retaining moisture as it increases the surface area around the root zone of the plants. It increases the resistance of the root-borne or soil-borne pathogens and nematodes. The VAM is basically involved in mobilizing different nutrients such as copper, potassium, aluminium, manganese, iron, magnesium from the soil to the plant roots. As the name suggests, VAM, that is the vesicular herbescular mycorrhiza, they form the vesicles or the sac-like structure, which is, important for the storage of nutrients, and herbesculars are utilized for funneling them into the root system. So if you can see this structure, you can see that these herbescules are these funneling agents that bring the distant nutrients to the vesicles and the roots, and the vesicles are utilized for the storage of lipids, basically phospholipids, in which it stores the phosphorus in the forms of phospholipids. So basically it penetrates the root cortex. The VAM penetrates the root cortex and spreads around the roots of the plants. Inside the root cortex, as the name indicates, they possess sac-like structures called the vesicles, which stores phosphorus as phospholipids. The other structures, which are known as arbuscles, They help in bringing the distant nutrients to the vesicles of the and the roots. So the uses of VAM can be enhancing the feeding area of the plant root. As I told you, the hyphae are spreads around the roots and it increases the surface area. The mobilization of the nutrients is increased from the distant parts of the rhizosphere to the root and it stores the nutrients. Basically, it stores the phosphorus in the form of phospholipids. They remove the toxic chemicals, example phenolics, which otherwise inhibit the nutrient availability, and it provides the protection against other fungi and nematodes. The VAM increases the growth rate of the plants, example citrus, maize, wheat, etc. And they reduces the sensitivity of the crop towards high level of salts and heavy metals. If we talk about the algal biofertilizers, basically these are the free living nitrogen fixers and the cyanobacteria, which are commonly known as the blue green algae or the BGA. There are more than 100 species of BGA which are involved in the nitrogen fixation, and there are two types of cells, and most of the vegetative cells and the heterocyst. So basically, the nitrogen fixation occurs in the specialized cells in the BGA, which are known as heterocyst, and these are the cells which are involved in the nitrogen fixation. BGA is very common in the rice fields, wherein the BGA is associated with the water fern known as Azolla. So unlike the Acetobacter, BGA are not inhibited by the presence of chemical fertilizers. So if we do not add the chemical fertilizers, the inoculum of alone this algal fertilizers can increase the crop yields from 10 to 14%. Example of some algal biofertilizers are Anabena, Nostoc, and Oscillatoria. Now we talk about the water ferns, which are known as azolla, and duckweed is another common name for this. So azolla is a tiny, very tiny freshwater fern, which are very common in the ponds, and they are present in the rice fields and flooded rice fields, and it has been used as a biofertilizers for rice in all the major rice growing countries, including India, Thailand, Korea, Philippines, Brazil, and West Africa. So basically, they are involved in fixing the nitrogen in association with the BGA, that is the blue-green algae, Anabina azole. In addition to nitrogen, decomposed azolla also provide K, P, Zn, and Fe to the crop. Azolla biomass gets doubled within 5 to 7 days by vegetative method, and it can fix up to 40 to 80 kilogram of nitrogen per hectare per year. It is a very good manure for rice fields, and there has been a report of crop yield increased up to 15 to 20% while fertilizing the rice with azolla. There are hybrids available in the for azolla, which are faster and they're tolerant to heat and cold, and they can fix 4 to 5% more nitrogen. So this is all for today, and yeah, thank you.